guys, this is Lachette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I am back with my One Book July 2019 first update. So, you can find my video where I am actually setting up everything for the month. That's in my July Witchy Plan With Me video, and I'll link it in the description and hopefully in a card up above. So you can go see that. But I just want to jump into the update here. I created a, what do you call this? I don't know why I'm forgetting the word, but I created this page in my dailies for today so I can keep up with what I want to talk about in this video. This is basically a collection page that I'm just using for right now. So starting with the flip throughs, and I'll start with the winter insert. That is this thing, which I covered up. Like I said before, it's an old insert that I still have pages in, but it says winter on the top because that's what I was using it for, and that was bothering me since it is summer. I cut this specialty paper out and just used the paper clip to put on for the time being. Now, here we are. Here's my July content calendar, all done. You'll start to see that I decided this month, because we have two eclipses, the full solar eclipse and the partial lunar eclipse that is coming up, that I would have a moon theme. It goes well with the colors of the month. So yeah, I have some holidays here, also some like specialty days. They're not official holidays, but there's stuff that I can talk about on my social media that has something to do with Scarlet Moon Creations, so I usually put them here on my content calendar in case I need ideas for content on those particular days. I have something to talk about. And these post-it tabs are basically cutouts from a slightly bigger post-it. And what I do, as always, is I have my key here. These in yellow are YouTube videos. This kind of like bluish green are blog posts. I'm not planning a lot of blog posts this year. That's why you don't see many. It's mostly YouTube videos. But yeah, creating this was nice. I kept it pretty simple, and doing the different moons, I used Michael's watercolor palette thingy. I'm sorry, I don't know why, but all of a sudden they're doing construction outside, so excuse the noise. Here's the first weekly I did. So yeah, not the first week of July, but this current week. I was too busy doing my monthly review and other videos, so I did not get a chance to create a weekly page for the first week of July. And I'm going through kind of a social media slump, meaning I'm taking a break unexpectedly, unplanned, because I got sick of posting. So yeah, the weeklies kind of really helped me with keeping up with daily appointments that are coming up, that I know are coming up that week, and also with planning out my social media posts. And I always put this stuff here of the things I want, the projects I want to work on during the week. So we'll come back to this. But yeah, I use the same color scheme. Next up, I want to show, here is the monthly and dailies. The Idea Creative notebook I said I was going to use. I set it up. I have this key that I created, and you'll see why in a second. These are to help me plan out and set up my monthly pages. So here's my index, which I haven't filled in yet because I literally just started. Here's my cover page, which I fill in at the end of the month, and my monthly log and projects page. So again, keeping it really simple here. I don't have tons of stuff going on, but there's some plans that might happen that I'll pencil in probably tonight when I update. Here's my projects list. So unlike the past couple of months, I just kept it really simple with just a list instead of breaking them down into the categories. I feel like certain categories I wasn't getting to and maybe purposefully putting off. That's something to think about. But and there's a couple of things I might add to this, because these are for the most part short projects. And I use projects instead of task lists because of the getting things done method and the bullet journal method book, the way writer Carol describes it. He calls them sprints, and that's more of the activity than what they are somewhat physically. But basically, a project, according to the getting things done method, is a series of tasks rather than just one task that can be just one and done. So, for example, where is it? I don't have it on here, but let's pick a video. The June Elemental Reading video. I have to film that video, and which means I have to get out my cards, which luckily I'm prepared. I have them right in front of me. Usually I like to do my monthly review beforehand, so I have an idea. I refresh my memory of what I did that month, and then I have to set up my video and my background, record my video, or schedule the recording, record the video, edit the video, upload the video, create and upload the video cover image for YouTube, add the tags and stuff, publish the video, and then share the video on social media and stuff so people know what's up there. So that's a project, even though it's just one video. Buy styling cream seems like just go and get it, but I don't have a lot of extra money. This is a little bit of a splurge. I don't really need styling cream in my hair, but it's been months since I bought it, and it's summertime now, and I really just don't want to deal with frizz on top of sweat, or sweating more. So it's like, buy a styling cream, but from which store, I have to figure out who's selling it the cheapest right now, and then how am I going to get there, schedule a time to go to the store to get the thing, and yeah, I wound up not buying it when I did all of that one day, and then the next day I went to Family Dollar and they had a totally different styling cream than what I usually use, same brand though, and I bought that. So yeah, that was a less complicated project, but still a project. Copy BOS, have to do that for some coven work, but I don't have that to copy from, so I have to make an appointment with my coven member, go over that day, make sure I have the paper and pen, and copy it, bring it back, and put it with my stuff. So again, an even smaller project, but yeah. So I might add a couple of things in here. But yeah, so those are my projects for the month, stuff I want to get done. One book July, obviously in the middle of that, it's a big deal. So here's changes I made. I decided not to do a habit tracker, and I'll show you, well, or not a big spread or even a one-page spread. I decided to track on my dailies, which you'll see, but Here's my field and sky notes page. Right now I only have sky notes. There's a lot of astrological stuff happening this month, and I'm feeling it hard. This Venus in Cancer, and then Mercury went retrograde yesterday. It went retrograde into Leo, and it's conjunct Mars. I have cried the last 3 days over stuff I would not normally cry about for the most part. It's been a lot. My I release and I manifest page, I'm not used to this yet, so I haven't been doing it every single day, but I still want to hear and to get back into the habit. But we're coming up on the full moon next week, so I want to get to that. Or is it this week? No, next week. So, income and expenses I'll put in later, memories I put in later, and then the monthly review is here. My quarterly progress log will go here. That's one of, if you remember my weekly, one of the things I will be doing this week. Alright, now the dailies. So, I have a moon theme, and using this paper, that's why I put this here to remember, I cut out a bunch, just a strip of these moons, and I'm pasting them in as that face of the month comes up. And yeah, this is from a paper pack I got at Michael's when it was on sale last year. So let's pull that out. So yeah, here's my daily habit tracker. I'm down to 8 things, and this is where the key comes in. So I've made keys before. The Miracle Morning thing is the only one I've used in the past. The others are all, oh no, the weekly I've used in the past as well. But yeah, so things I want to do, focus on this month in general. Making calls, phone calls are really, and make me anxious, and I tend to avoid them, but there's a lot of stuff I want to do where I need to make a phone call, and I have done it before. I've gotten into the habit for work purposes in the past, and somewhat overcome that anxiety, but I've gotten out of it, and yeah. Talking to family and friends, whether it's a phone call or it's chatting online, texting, whatever, the evening routine, and then divination. So yeah, I'm putting that simple tracker on my dailies, and then sticking a little moon thing here with my glue stick, my extra strength glue stick. In the pocket here in the back, I'm actually using it. Here are the cutout moons. So yeah, when that phase comes up, I stick it there. The other thing is the daily magic. Who did I get this from again? I don't remember how to pronounce her channel name. I'll put it down here. But this is also, like I mentioned, I release an I Manifest page. I mentioned that, and Daily Magic. I got it from her here on YouTube, and I talk about them more in my July Witchy bullet journal setup. But if I do some sort of magic every day, I try, and it doesn't have to be a huge thing, but I want to keep track of it. Or if I see something that's spiritual, I might put that here. Next, one of the things that have influenced me from the bullet journal method is remembering that I can write stuff. It doesn't just have to be tasks or projects every day in my dailies. One of my goals is to keep track of what's going on in astrology, hence the sky notes, and the reason I was able to do that, this page, was thanks to the astrology podcast. I'll link that in the description, and maybe above if I can. They have a YouTube channel, and so you can listen to the podcast or watch the video. And I took notes on what they said about what's going on in the sky, and yeah, just with my regular bullet point plans, some more dailies. I was attempting to like watercolor some things, some notes for on my daily magic that day. The bullet journal method notes here. I talked about this. My Nobel Peace Prize Lamy pen, I forgot I dropped it, so it doesn't work quite properly, and I'm a little upset. I'm upset again, actually. But yeah, my notes from the bullet journal method. Decided to be more proactive about using the washi tapes I picked out this month. So here they start showing up. And more book notes from the tarot element. And here we are on today, the 9th. And here's my 1 week update. I prepped some pages because I did want colorful backgrounds. I forget how much I like having the watercolor thing. So I'll prep some more. It's a really simple way to have color, which is really the big artistic thing for me, is having color. And I remembered a trick about using gesso, so it's easier to write over later on, and I'm very happy with the outcome. I might try some matte medium for next pages. And then here's my journal. I left this for last because it's a little bit different from everything else. Whereas here I'm kind of planning and trying to figure out how to do things. This is just thoughts. This is a junk journal, which I want to do more of, and I figured long form journaling was the way to go. Now I only have 2 pages done in here, so this was my July 1st page, and then this is the day page I did for the July 4th, and I'm really happy with how these pages came out. And you know, I just have stickers. I used Tombows, and I hand doodled some stuff from Coney Island and some fireworks. So yeah, no big deal. I like the way they came out. But it's been 8 days and I've only done 2 pages. I do want to journal daily. However, I've been running into an issue. So, that is all the flip through I have. I know I was going to use my spiritual journal, but I haven't finished the spreads I did in there. I did 1 or 2. And I have not started the new divination journal yet. So there's that. Next is my goals for this challenge. How have they changed? So the projects I wanted to work on, because it's a go big or go home, is making junk journals, and the why for that is because I wanted to show people how to use them, but also to sell them. I have 2 made. I had planned since last year to have 8 made. I'm not planning on becoming a journal channel or journal only Etsy shop, but I do want to offer some handmade journals. And it takes a lot. My supplies are not the best, and to make one journal, it takes time. Longer than it takes for me to make like my bath stuff like this. Well, this is for me, but yeah, it takes longer than that to mix up bath stuff. So yeah, spiritual journal pages, definitely doing that. I have, yeah, two spreads I need to finish up. Um, the reading challenges, I was hoping to finish in June. The Geek Pride challenge and the Gemini challenge from the Hermit's Mirror, but I didn't. So I need to finish those two up, which is 10 days, and here we are. I could have finished those both now and then start my new divination journal, but I haven't yet. And so I think I've just been very overwhelmed with everything else, and that's why I haven't done those. It just seems like a lot to do right now. Long form journaling. So that's what's supposed to happen here in my junk journal. But I did this page and then I kind of messed up. I was second guessing like what should go in there. Oh, I should keep it simple. Oh, if I do long form journaling, it'll take up more pages because this is a small journal, and like size wise it's small, and then it doesn't have very many pages. And oh, if I'm doing junk journaling, I always wanted to do like the layering, like scrapbooking and that kind of thing. And all of these reasons. And then honestly today, this morning, I was like, what am I doing? Like it's a junk journal. I can layer, I can paste stuff in if I don't have enough space. Um, I with junk journals, you're supposed to use junk, but a lot of people use like scrapbooking paper and stuff, which is great for me because I don't have a lot of junk. I don't buy a lot of things. I work from home. So I'm not like constantly collecting paper. I do not and cannot. I don't have ink in any of the printers in my home. The local library only prints in black and white. So I'm like, well, even if I use stuff from Pinterest or Instagram or even take pictures on my own, I can't print them because I don't have the ink for that. And I can't afford it. That's why I don't have it. So I'm like, it's okay. I realized I watched a video this morning by her name, Catherine Reeds, and she's actually in New York City as well, and it just really like brought to my head like I can use whatever I want. It doesn't have to be a certain way. It could be a mood, and as long as the junk I am putting in here gives the mood of the page, then it's fine. And then I sat and kind of like brainstormed some ideas, things that have been going on. When I did the 4th of July page, I was like, oh yeah, and then I had stuck in my head that there is this, I should be, sorry, I like touched the camera, now it's moving. But there should be like events in here only. Things that I've gone out and done, and I haven't gone out and done much. The fact that I went out for 4th of July was a big deal, which is why I put that page in there. Usually, to be perfectly honest, unless I get invited to like a friend's barbecue, I do absolutely nothing on the 4th of July. I don't even watch the fireworks on TV anymore, but my friend was available. We were like, oh, it's a holiday. We can hang out that day. So I decided to write down those ideas of what to journal because it's helpful. And I found on Instagram, I came across this thing, Junk Journal July. It's a challenge. There's a bunch of prompts, so I can draw from that as well as far as what to put physically into my junk journal other than what to journal about. So that will hopefully be better next update. And planning the next 6 months. So I need to do my quarterly review and update the progress log. And that's basically planning the next 6 months, the next 3 months at least in some sort of detail, and the next 6 months And that's something I'll do this week. I had not done it, so maybe some more details in here, and I'll have start the 2021. Then, God, it would really help if I looked at my index, but I'm so stubborn about that. But it's there. Here we go. Putting more details of stuff in here as well, so it'll happen. Lastly, the bullet journal method. So I did not really talk about that because I knew it was on there as far as my projects go, and it's the next thing for my update. So the books I'm reading this month are Tarot Elements by Melissa Sonova, and this is part of the Witchy Book Club run by Samantha Menzo on YouTube, and there's a group on Facebook that you can join. This is my first tarot book in years, and I really like it for the most part. We were supposed to be halfway through by now, but I'm not because I took a break and I was reading the bullet journal method. But so far so good. That's why the notes were in there. I'm also reading 1,000 Beginnings and Endings, edited by Ellen O and Elsie Chapman. This is 15 retellings of Asian myths and legends by Asian or Asian American authors, and I'm liking it so far. I'm about 2/3 of the way through, if I can show it. I don't know. But yeah, this is where I'm up to. I like this. It's nice. And the bullet journal method by Ryder Carroll. So I had started this book back in January. I liked it. I was flying through it, and then I got to the second section. So let me find part 2. Or actually part 3. So I flew through these part 1 and part 2 in like 2 days. Then I got to part 3, the practice, and I started seeing exercises that I needed to do. So I've done all of this. I had notes of things that didn't occur to me when I was doing the bullet journal method from January. So that's in here, my old bullet journal and my previous bullet journal. So yeah, let me see. I like this part about migration, meant to add friction to your day, week, month, and year to help you step back, slow down, and consider things you task yourself. It's something is not worth the few seconds it takes to transfer them over. Chances are it's not really important. And the letter chapter had me bawling. The story about the woman whose child gets sick, and she has everything, his medical info and logs in her bullet journal. She just handed it to the EMTs because they needed that and they can refer back to it. It was just, that was amazing and awesome. Let's see. I took pictures of some pages that were also important to me at the time. But yeah, those were my notes for the beginning of the book. Now, what else did I have to say? Here's my notes for the parts I came through. So, part 3, we start talking about like goals and such, and that's important. Not all things are meant to be an occupation. Not every hobby or curiosity is a calling, and this is something I come back to every once in a while, particularly with my business. I have to keep checking in, like, you know, there's a lot of stuff I don't like, it's tedious and I don't want to do, and stuff I avoid doing, but I love making the baths. So how do I share that enjoyment? But so reading this helped me pick out like making my goals into sprints, breaking them down, self-contained projects, create a specific subset of goals. And so one of the things about planning the next 6 months is I want to make subset goal collections pages, because I don't always do that. I've gotten out of the habit in the last year, maybe 2 years, and I need to. It helps remind me of all the parts of a project, not just the long-term goal that it's a part of. And yeah, the steps for that. A note to myself, continue to remind myself that my motivation is how I want to feel. I created a whole chart that's not in my bullet journal. It was on a huge piece of paper of like my motivation, what I want to feel, and how I think the things I'm doing will help me bring those feelings in. And that harkens back to what Ryder talks about, gaining happiness, and is more about finding things that are meaningful to you, doing things that are meaningful, and I definitely totally subscribe to that. Just yeah, brainstorming more, writing things down, getting them out of my head, having them on paper, and I can do that on the dailies. I can do that in my journal. If it's not something, I don't even know. I can do it wherever I feel like it. That's the point that I need to get down. Figuring out how long each task should take and estimating it and then tripling that, putting that in the schedule, like blocking time in my schedule. I'm so bad about that. For someone who is self-employed and works from home, that's not good. But I'm trying to be better. The thing I run up against, and this came up in the Tarot Elements book as well, so reading them at the same time has been great. I have a internal emotional mental block against making schedules and blocking my time and setting boundaries. Like one half of me really, really, really enjoys that. That's probably the Gemini rising, Aquarius, not even the Gemini rising, and also the Scorpio sun. Like we like to make plans, but my Aquarius moon likes to destroy those plans. Like I want to be free. I like making plans. I like planning. I like journaling. I like having schedules, putting things in order, being organized in general. It's beautiful to me. But then I do these things and then it's like, oh no, but what if I want to do something else but I'm locked into this? It feels like I'm not free, and I don't know exactly how to reconcile those two things. So that's been on my mind a lot this year, because I realized that habit from the last couple of years. But yeah, pause and reflect for each snippet. I like the anecdote on 167. I forget what it is, so let's go and look. Doo-doo-doo. 167. Oh, about the three friends who have soul-crushing desk jobs, a passion for yoga, and at one point I deal with Instagram feeds. So one just quit her job and went to Costa Rica, and then she came back a year later because she didn't enjoy teaching yoga to entitled tourists, and she wanted to travel the world and experience local cultures, but locals can't afford yoga instructors usually. So there's that. The second woman quit her job for yoga teaching at a beach resort. A year later, she came back and she realized that teaching yoga took the fun out of it for her. So there's that. The last woman took her time. She started teaching classes on weekends locally, and she used her vacations to teach for a week or two at resorts, and that wasn't for her. She realized it by testing, and then she tried retreats, and she realized, oh, that's her thing, and so she started doing retreats here and there on her, building up her clientele and connections over time, and that worked. And the small steps, I like that so much. And the two quotes on 170 were also a big deal for me. So the first, mistakes are great educator when one is honest enough to admit them and willing to learn from them. That's by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Totally pronouncing that in the English way, so probably wrong. The other is by Carl Sagan, which I've never heard before, and I need to redo that. Sorry, just adjusting. There are naive questions, tedious questions, ill-phrased questions, questions put after inadequate self-criticism, but every question is a cry to understand the world. There is no such thing as a dumb question. I have heard there's no such thing as a dumb question before, but not the rest before it. And I completely agree. So, yeah, I am up to page 194. This book is supposed to go back tomorrow. Probably will not. I hope to renew it so I can finish it. But still loving this. I think a lot of the stuff I've read in this, because this is all what I talked about in part 3. So I'm hoping to put most of this into effect this week with planning my third quarter in the next 6 months as well. Because the art section, I know as well already. This is the meat and potatoes of the book to me, what I feel like I will gain from it. So, yeah. I talked about what I plan to do next. I'm working on my third week, finishing this 2 spiritual journal spreads, and yeah, making sprints, a schedule, time blocking. Wish me luck, you guys. So I will be back in a week. Timing wise, I hope to have the next video up on the 17th. If not before then, but probably on the 17th, because I just want to keep that whole Wednesday thing, because the 31st is a Wednesday, and yeah, I can end on the last day of July. But thank you so much for watching this. Let me know how you're doing with One Book July, what you're getting from the Bullet Journal Method book. I don't own my copy. Like I said, it's a library book, so it's a bit much. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week for the second update. Bye.